lights are off and away they go.
Extremely loose. He's managed to hold on it.
He missed the complete. That is crazy stuff.
Side Freitas is on the grass on the infield before. He slides through. He tags Richard Eck.
Back to where it all started, we have returned to Road America for the 14th, yes, 14th installment of the Week 13 SRF vRunoffs Big Grid Race. And all the action from Green Flag to Victory Donuts will be brought to you live as it happens here on the Global SimRacing channel. Racing into the Badger State, we settle in at this historic course for today's action. Hello, race fans, and welcome to another GSRC broadcast. I'm Sean Ambrose. Joining me in the booth to call the action today is Justin Prince. Twisted and tweaking the dials is the hardest working man in sim racing broadcasting, our director, Joe Peak, and at his disposal will be the camera locations provided by the renowned Dougie Beard. Justin, the organizer's stated idea for this event is simple. Put 60 spec racer Fords on a track with plenty of passing opportunities and you'll have a race-long, side-by-side racing. Now, these drivers haven't been at Road America for this race in 2 years, since the 6th round of this series. In fact, it was the original track used for the Big Grid Race when we got started with this over 2 years ago. So it's time to reminisce and get everybody familiar again with this circuit. Justin, tell us a little bit about it.
Thank you very much, Sean. As you mentioned, it's going to be a big grid, more than 50 cars expected, possibly up to as many as 59 once things get going here at beautiful Road America in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. This 4.048 mile circuit has 14 turns throughout the entire course that has lots of different passing areas, but many different danger areas as there's space to go as wide as 3 or 4 wide across the track. It'll be all about patience and timing to make your moves to get through the field, as well as to maneuver the draft. And to help explain more, let's head to your GSRC lap guide.
All right, let's do a lap around Road America in the Spec Racer Ford with Kevin Brown behind the wheel. Coming down the front straightaway and across the start-finish line, you'll notice this is a very, very long front straightaway. The draft is obviously going to be huge in these cars, and it's going to help supplement a lot of passes. Now, coming up to turn 1, it's a deceptively fast right-hander. The car's really going to want to push at the exit, so you're going to see a lot of guys go off into the grass there and possibly lose it and bite it on that wall on the right. Now, we're coming up to turn 3. I know it should be 2, but for some reason they decided it's 3. It's a little bit more of a tighter right-hander, and the important thing with it is you got to make sure you get a good exit, because you're heading down the moraine sweep right now. Just want to straighten out these kinks as you go down it. It's going to be a long time. Once again, you'll see a lot of draft battles going on. As long as you're close enough, you're going to be holding on. The smart guys are really going to play it strategically and not constantly be passing each other and slow each other up. Turn 5 here. Heavy braking. Excellent passing zone. Use as much of that curve as you can. Make sure you don't go off into the grass. Then you got a short straightaway up into 6. Uphill. Blind braking into this sharp left-hander, and it dumps you up towards the hurry downs, which will come after turn 7. Fast right-hander, flat to the floor, whole time, very thread the needle. Downhill braking zone, now down the hurry downs as you come up to 8. Another very good passing zone, very sharp corner, and as you exit, it dumps you into the carousel. This is one of the longest turns in racing, and there's a lot of elevation change here, even though it doesn't really show. Just keeps going and going. Really, the important thing, yet again, because we got another long straightaway, is you got to get onto the power. Now, you got the kink, the infamous kink. This thing is extremely scary. Once more, flat to the floor. Just thread the needle right through it, and then straighten out these kinks throughout the rest of the kettle bottoms. This is going to dump you into Canada Corner. This is probably your last best passing opportunity on the lap. And a lot of guys are going to outbrake themselves on this one and head into that sand trap on the outside. Once again, use a lot of the curb. And then set yourself up for this last little kink. Another flat out corner. But once again, you got to get it just right. You can't really go too wide through there. Then the final corner, curved braking zone just to throw you for a loop. And set yourself up for the final exit for this big uphill. If you don't get onto the power at the right time, you're going to be at a huge disadvantage with this big uphill. But that takes you back to this front straightaway, to the start-finish line, and there's a lap around Road America.
Now, as we've all come familiar with this special Week 13 event, we have some of the best joining us today, including past SRF champs, big grid winners from the past, champs in many other series. So the term vRunoffs is very appropriate as a way to honor the annual real-world SRF championship race at the SEC Runoffs every year. Now, drivers have come from all over the world to be here today, with drivers representing almost every iRacing division. It won't be hard to find one of your favorite drivers on track today. Looking to be about 50. We've got 51 registered currently, 5.5 minutes left in qualifying. We may still have a couple drop in. This is going to be a very, very full race today. Justin, tell us a little bit about the details of the event.
Yes, some of these details, if for those who do not know what the SRF stands for, it is of course for the 105 horsepower Spec Racer Ford, 1005, pardon me. These cars are very light, so if you go on one bad lane or bounce around, it could send you wrecking loose. You can also expect them to make a major impact in terms of drafts. In terms of the further details, as you're seeing in the background, it's currently a 20-minute qualifying currently going on. It's an open qualifying, meaning it's partially about luck, but partially about managing that draft to get the speeds to get up to a good starting position. The race is 40 minutes long today, which is going to be a fairly distant race, as you're seeing an accident in that background, so you got to make sure you avoid things like that. As well, these are open setups with unrestricted fuel, meaning no pit stops, and fast repairs for situations just like you've seen there. But, of course, if you can't get to the pit lane immediately, they are, to be honest, kind of pointless, because you will have to lose a few minutes for towing, and by the time you repair, you'll be a few laps down. And as for the weather for today, it is realistic. 67 degrees Fahrenheit with partly cloudy skies, 92 degrees for your track temperatures. It is also fairly windy, 9 miles per hour to the southeast at the moment, with 53% humidity. So it is a fairly warm track and a very windy track right now, so it could be a bit harder for these cars to manage to go around this giant circuit.
It certainly could make the trip through the carousel very, very tricky, with side-by-side racing being prevalent in this type of race. Now, Justin, again, drivers from all over the world here, as we follow qualifying, there's only 3.5 minutes left. Just to give the race fans an idea what it takes to get around here, you're looking at over 2.5 minutes. So most drivers really only going to get about 6 to 7 laps in here for qualifying. This is an open qualifying session, as you see here on track. So drivers using the draft as an advantage here to try and climb the board. And on that provisional pole right now, we've got Yannick Chauvin, the Frenchman, currently with a 2:34.3, which is a very, very fast lap, considering in practice we only had 1 or 2 drivers in practice that had actually been able to crack the 2:34 mark. So now, of course, one of the other things you have to deal with when you've got an open qualifying session like this is having trouble navigating that traffic, maybe banging the car up, which means you've got to get out of the car, get back in the car, start another out lap, which takes a very long time. Again, another 2.5 minutes. So you've got to be careful in these open qualifying sessions, especially when you're dealing with as many cars as we are today.
Yes, you do. You don't want to get yourself into an accident to start off and end up at the back, especially, as we mentioned, a 51 car grid at the moment. This is a very giant grid. You do not want to be starting 51st out of 51st, because that may be a near impossible task to manage. You want to be somewhere like where Jonathan Madden is right now in 4th position, somewhere where you can catch the lead draft pack of cars and be able to smoothly pull away to start things off. You do not want to be in the middle of a hornet's nest of 45 cars in the back just about entering some of these tough chicanes, especially the Moraine Sweep, the Carousel, the Canada Corner. You want to have that space in that draft with the fast cars, especially at this kind of track.
Okay, so as we follow the last minute and a half here of qualifying, you're looking there at Aero Num. Currently sits 6th on the board in qualifying. This right here, I believe, is an out lap for him. So he came in and he's back out now. We'll see if that gets him up the board any further here as he comes around. Aero, of course, in many series, different series. We've seen him here on the Global Sim Racing channel. You've seen him on iRacing Live. Certainly one you could look at and say is a contender in today's race. Certainly one to watch. He's always fast, and it looks like right now this draft maybe helping him a little bit. Yes, he's the lead car, but still, when you've got two working together, you can be a little bit faster. He smokes the tires there a little bit through the left-hander. But as they get under the Corvette bridge, the track will start to open up and the speed will start to come here. So this could be a pivotal lap here for Aero Num. He was, almost a full second off the pole. Can he make it up here, though, on this very last lap? We'll see. Several cars still out here. Rob Fears is also on track. Sven Sigmund is still out on track. Bob Battalla is still making his way around. Some drivers have come in with just a couple of laps. And like it said on the graphic there for the race details, Justin, really at the end of the day, this race the objective is fun. Get all these drivers on track from all these different series, and kind of like the IROC series used to be back in the day. Just get out of here and have some fun. The flag has that. Do we get the checkered flag on qualifying there? We have, and that is it. All right, so I think we are safe to call it. I know we've got a lot of drivers on the grid, so we probably want to head and get to that as quick as we can. We're gonna. Yeah, okay, now my bad there, Justin. We've got a lot of drivers still actually on track completing their laps, so let's do that because we were following, we were following Aero Num, and I know he's just come around, and he's coming actually across the straight now. Let's pick up his time as he gets behind the car, slingshots out. Oh, made contact. Aero made contact with Flavio Satorino, and that is going to discount that lap. That's not going to count, so... Wow. All right. Well, still more cars on track coming around here.
Yes, some of them are pulling off to the side, but some still are out there. Like Ferenz Arabian is out there. You see Coba Lopez. He's coming down the Road America straight. Currently third in his times. We'll see if he records a faster time here as he crosses the beautiful start and finish line. And he will not record a faster time. But now as they begin their race meeting, there are a lot of different competitors here. With this big field, you see some new drivers and a lot of familiar faces, like you mentioned, Aero Num. He just came from absolute beginners too, which was taking place at Nürburgring. And then you have also some more competitive drivers, like you mentioned, Yannick Chavin, Jonathan Madden. It's a whole deep field of a variety of different drivers that you see for different skills, from different assets and facets of iRacing, from the forum community right to every single race series just about. So a lot of diversity today, Sean.
All right, who do you like today?
Who do I like today? Well, we can start off with the grid because the main two drivers I really like today are in 1 and 2, Yannick Chavin and Jonathan Madden. In fact, the fastest drivers right now, Madden the fastest without the draft, Chavin with the draft. So there are going to be some people to watch. There are 1 and 2 right now, partially because Chavin was part of a 5-car train in the draft. And Coba Lopez starts off in third along with Richard Yelland, Alejandro Sanchez, and Aero Num, as we're talking about. He was the first car to come out of the pits. He starts off on the outside of row 3. David Streeter in row 4 with Ronnie Dunnick. Adam Copeland starts 9th alongside Rob Fearshawn.
Okay, and 11th going to go to Mark McDonald. Manning Grinnan going to sit there in 12th. Adam Bradshaw 13th. David Rodriguez 14th. Scott Edwards starting 15th today. Sven Sigmund going to start 16th. Bob Battalla in 17th. Bob Kern 18th. Javier De Diego will start 19th in row 10 there. On the outside of him will be Xavier Sanchez.
And Miguel Fuentes starts off 21st. Our main organizer for the vRunoffs and Steve Race starts off 22nd. Fuentes Arabian starts off 23rd with Tim Settle. Row 13, Donald Flitter and Andre Stopes. Row 14th is Francesco Bernardo and Kurt Nunez. Eduardo Doherty and Antonio Ruiz starts off in row 15.
Okay, and we'll go back to 31st place here. Row 16, Flavio Satorino. Michael Shaw will start 32nd. Mark Underwood, 33rd. James King, 34th. Louis Vandersloot will start 35th. Gerald McCreevy will start there in 36th. Trevor Clement, 37th. Benjamin Morton, 38th. Lance Snyder, 39th. And Mike Taylor, 40th.
And in 41st now, Bogdan Dimitrescu, pardon me on the mispronunciation, alongside Jason Wallet. In 42nd, Don Brooks and Matt Slom, pardon me on that again, in row 22nd. The 23rd row features Gary Wolbert and Joshua Holman. Row 24, Jose Carlos Camdorian and William Marshall. Row 25 is the last recorded time, and Travis Trussell and Gabel Karski in 50th spot. 51st, Richard Valley.
Okay, so that's 51 strong here on this big grid here today in week 13, kind of the culmination of a long week 13. They're always fun, lots of fun events on iRacing. I took in a couple myself, took in the frame twister, and took in a little Daytona action in my Mazda, my Global MX-5 Mazda. It was not a good race, but that's okay. But we've got a good full grid here, and if you've not seen one of these before, don't get up, don't take a break, because honestly, action happens so quick here now. The pace car is pulling off, and we will go around, follow that roof pace car around here for a full lap, and then we'll turn them loose out of the final turn. Turn 14 magnificent turns here, and we're going to get a chance to take you around one time at pace speed, because there are no caution flags. This is as slow as we will see them all race here. Now 40 minutes of just breakneck excitement coming your way, and Road America, just again, one of the most historic road racing venues here in the United States. The Trans Am Series was there just a few weeks ago. IndyCar is, of course, raced here. The Xfinity Series, I was going to say the Busch Series, almost slept. They've raced here before. Still haven't got a NASCAR Cup race there. But who knows? Anything might be possible in the future. Today it is the Spec Racer Ford, though, and to say this machine is flat out around a great portion of this track is, well, that might be an understatement. This is you are really pushing the limit on this car.
Yeah, you are, because it is, like you mentioned, you're going to be flat out. With the draft, too, you're going to go as fast as 120 miles per hour into some of these tight turns. So it's going to be about precision and timing for where you take your passes. You do not want to probably force it four wide, for example, heading into a tight corner like turn number 5 here. So it's going to be testing a lot of different drivers. And if you are not willing to do that, well, you can park your car in the garage, or you can just try and back yourself up and focus on racing, because it's a tough track. A lot of different drivers we were talking about this or a little bit before, and some other drivers were mentioning this, that this setup around the bend, turn 11, is where a lot of these cars start to mess up a bit setup-wise and mechanically. So on the fixed setup, pardon me. So it's going to be trying to make sure you balance that out and make adjustments as you can, Sean, throughout the entire race to make sure you make it to the finish, and as well, have some great fun.
Yeah, well, and when they're going through the carousel now, when they come out of this carousel, you really pick up a lot of speed here coming down that straight to what we call the kink, that turn 11 that you mentioned. It's a bit of a trick to get through there in any car, and you really can't do it flat out in the Spec Racer Ford. I imagine we'll probably see them fighting there, side by side, going into that kink to set themselves up to get down to Canada Corner. which is probably one of the trickier turns in all of auto racing. Canada, a very, very unique turn. A lot of runoff out there. A lot of chance to get into trouble. They will definitely be battling hard down there. But now we are just about around the course here as we head to Canada now. It's about to unleash the beast here at Road America.
A big track, a lot of different action to be expected here. It's time to buckle up those seatbelts. It's going to be a nice, cool 40 minutes of action and fun throughout this entire circuit here at Road America. Let's see what happens.
Ade Lopez gets a great qualifying spot there in third. I expect him to attack quickly. Probably one of my favorites in this race. Strength of field very strong. Pace car is around the final turn now. It is about to peel off, and he does, and that means the action is underway here in the week 13, 14th round of this series. They are off to green. Yannick Chauvin takes them across the start-finish line here, all out in front by himself as they head down into turn one. It's a mad scramble. Cars already starting to step out, trying to make it three wide in a couple of spots here. Got to be very careful managing this first turn. Don't want it to end here in the very first turn. Got him wrapped out pretty good. A lot of speed coming up the hill and then down it here to the right-hander.
Yeah, a couple cars in the sand trap in that first corner. James King, one of the only ones, but a very clean start to this one. But of course, that is not the tightest section. They are coming up to tight turn number 5. A big-time draft working on the top 3 already. Top 4, I should say, working on a train entering that corner.
Lopez already shoots the lead, but now he's being challenged by Chauvin. Chauvin looking to take it back. Here comes John Madden just behind them.
And it looks like we got some trouble as there's multiple cars around. Bob Korn sitting in the middle of the exit. And it looks like everyone will go around Sean. He is the only one to be still affected mainly by that incident, but we are still going.
Yeah, trouble down in turn 5, and it looks like there was a little bit of contact by Xavier Sanchez. Gets in the back of Bob Kern there, and it sends Kern around. Cars scrambling to get around there. It was a mad dash, but everybody keeps going. I don't think that was an ender for anybody. A lot of excitement here early on track. Still trying to complete lap 1 here, and they are coming around now on the back part of the course. Your leader, Yannick Chauvin, just got it back from Coba Lopez. Ooh, John Madden making a move. Madden stepping out, getting out of the draft, trying to slingshot around. Coba Lopez trying to put it in the middle. He's going to slip back into the draft. Look at that move down into Canada by John Madden. A nice one. He takes that lead away from both of them. And going to try and lead this first lap, but you know what? It's a long way up that straight. There's going to be so many opportunities to pass here at the start-finish line. It's really anybody's race when you're this close. Jonathan Madden's going to have to look to defend here. Coba Lopez comes up alongside as they head to the start-finish line. Coba Lopez getting the advantage, and now looks like he's going to get a little help from behind. Coba Lopez is going to lead that first lap. Not by much. Jonathan Madden was right there, and here's Yannick Chauvin getting into the mix. Just behind them, you've got Alejandro Sanchez and Eero Noem off to a great start. They have now joined the party, gotten into this mix, caught up to this draft.
Yeah, the draft already playing a major factor, as you're seeing with slingshots all throughout the track, because Jonathan Madden was the fastest without the draft in practice and qualifying, as Chauvin's actually going to bump draft him here as they approach the Santiago Bridge, pardon me. But let me just say, that is how big of a factor it is here. Chauvin has this car set up perfectly for this said draft, as Jonathan Madden is now going for the move.
Madden, one tough customer today. Definitely going to lose that spot there to Coba Lopez, but not for long. They'll be fighting. Hey, now let's go back just a little bit further. Ronnie Dudek is having quite a battle with Rob Fears. Almost made contact with him. Dudek now off of the grass. Dudek is off of the grass. Going to try and bring it back up, but does it right there. Right in front of Fears. Richard Yallen had to let off. He's in that Rothman's number 96 just behind them.
Yeah, similar situations just happened way at the back. Richard Volley's finally turning around from his incident. James Kane looks like might have gone stuck in that said gravel in turn 5, but mostly clean for much of the race, as we do have Travis Trussell also struggling way back there, but this battle up front is still shuffling like crazy.
There's another 4 right behind them. You've got Adam Copeland, Bob Batalla, Adam Bradshaw, and Xavier Sanchez having a great battle here. 4-car break. So it seems to be a series of like 4-car breaks, although that pack up in front of them moving quite a bit. Got a side-by-side battle. Mark McDonald making a break to take the position on Sven Sigmund, heading down into Canada corner.
Yeah, that's a giant train of cars going back to as far back as 16th, 17th. Everyone just trying to work together to catch back up to that top 5 as they have started to slowly pull away with their draft. Just look at this. No one's really risking much of anything quite yet. But we do, of course, have that Road America straight. It actually goes back to 22nd now. That is how important the draft is. No one wants to take a risk. They all just want to stay single file, work together, and hopefully make a battle for that lead.
And Trevor Clement had a really, really big off out of the kink, and he has taken a tow already. That I think we've got it on the replay. You're going to see him miss it in the kink. He's going to get off in the grass, come back across the track, and collect Michael Shaw, the number 59. Both cars damaged heavily. There he is getting off into the grass. He's going to slide and then across the track. He's going to bounce back off that retaining wall right into Shaw. Oh, boy, that was a mess. Tough break for both of those guys. Of course, as we said in when we were discussing the race early on, if you wreck, if you have to tow, you're pretty much out of it for any chance of contending for a win. And those drivers out early, that is a shame to see them out so early in this race. But driving through the field here, you see the top 5 kind of running away with it right now. John Madden leading the field.
Yeah, those 5 are pulling away. I think it's a good thing they're not in the traffic. Manning Gridden just got turned around, and he's back and going meanwhile. So that's just part of that chaos way back there. These 5, though, are just pulling away very quickly. They're the top 5 fastest in qualifying. They've already gotten about a 5-second advantage over the cars way in the back, as Gridden is way off the track again, as he's just going to stop at the gravel and go once again.
Yeah, and boy, that's a shame for Grinnan, but he definitely, the car seems to be well out of shape now, and is going to struggle to try and get it back to the pit if he can, or take the tow. Back up front, though, Jonathan Madden under attack again from Cobo Lopez. This is what we've seen here early on. These two really battling hard. Don't want to battle too hard here early. I mean, we've still got over 30 minutes to go. A little bit of patience needs to come into play here. They can see their relative and know that they've got a nice 6-second break on the rest of the field right now. This top 5 off to a good start. We'll run it down for you. John Madden, Ade Cobo Lopez, Alejandro Sanchez, Yannick Chauvin, and Iro Nam comprise this front pack of 5, and then just behind them, you got Rob Fears, Richard Yallen, David Rodriguez, Ronnie Dudek, and David Streeter, all in a really good battle now to round out your second 5. But up front, another pass for the lead as Cobo Lopez takes it at the line by a nose, not even a nose, maybe just a layer of paint there at the line. But behind them, Yannick Chauvin and Alejandro Sanchez still having a really, really good battle.
Yeah, a lot of different battles. I do want to mention something just happened in the Kettle Bottoms, as the best view to show this would be Steve Ray. This would be on his lap number 3. You can see he is going to have to pull in with a ton of damage, because the number 97, I believe it was, as this is even further back than what we're showing here, this is before Canada Corner, he had a massive incident even a little further back than this, as a few different cars went around the Hot Wheels of one. The 11 soon ran after. You're seeing it now on this said replay. As Steve Ray, you can see car just loses control in front, plows into him, then he's plowed right behind once he's losing it by the 111 Hot Wheels machine. That 111 is of Donald Frittner. He went upside down. Frittner was still upside down, in fact, when he got back going, and Ray having to use his quick repair.
I want to go back a little bit further in the field here, go back to 11th right now. David Streeter just had a moment. The car got off the track, but he was able to gather it back up. Only Mark McDonald was able to get around. He was able to keep the rest of the field behind him. That's Bob Batallo, who's had a little bit of trouble getting going here. He's had to avoid some trouble, but he is up 5 spots. Batalha, certainly one of those drivers you can think of as a favorite in this one. The only problem is that the leader has now gotten it to a 10-second spread on Bob Batalha. Road America going to be very, very tough track to make up 10 seconds. 10 seconds might as well be 10 minutes here. Going to be very, very tough. Of course, no advantage of a yellow flag. Tight racing back here in this pack is just behind him. We've got a battle there between Adam Copeland and Xavier Sanchez. Sanchez looking to the inside here, heading down into Canna Corner. He's going to take it from the outside, actually, and now get to work up on the bumper there of Bob Batalha.
Yeah, one of the many different trains going on as you're seeing different battles. This is a gigantic track as we're seeing. Errol Num, in fact, though, has lost that lead draft we were talking about with that advantage. He is currently having to pull in. In fact, he hit the side wall out of the kink, and now he's going to have to get some repairs for the left side of his car with this quick repair. So heat is going to be majorly factored into this. He was one of the fastest cars in practice, fastest in qualifying just about. Let's see what happened here. As this is before that, in fact, this is the Canada corner as you're seeing here where he started really falling off the pace. And in fact, he just towed from this said incident. This is right around where trouble happened.
He might have picked up a meatball on that. In fact, we're still watching this replay. You see Earl get off there. Yeah, that did not end well for him, man. He wraps it hard.
Yeah, he just got a little bit on a bad line. Like I said, one bad line, you can become snapped loose, kind of just like that. He just bounced off the wall a few times. His day's done.
All right. John Madden hanging on to second, but maybe not for long, man. Yannick Chauvin really trying to figure out something here. Trying to get that second spot back and keep it. Cobo Lopez just up in front, not gotten away too far here. Still good work here by Alejandro Sanchez to hang on to that 4th place.
Yeah, and Lopez, I don't think this gap is going to last, obviously, because of the importance of the draft. But let's take a look at this battle for about 7th, 8th, and 9th. David Rodriguez is currently one of the main cars in that said battle, fighting along, too wide, in fact, going under the Johnsonville Bridge. Just that kind of action going on throughout the entire circuit. Just, you have to time things right. You can see that it's that kind of a fight just to keep one position, with Rodriguez trying to get by Yalland.
Want to pick up a driver who's really moving through the field. Gerald McCravey just got up to just got up to 19th, got around Francisco Bernardo, and Gerald is up 17 spots. That spec racer is on the move. He's finding speed around this circuit. He's chasing Antonio Rees right now, looking to pick up another position. Not out of the question here that Gerald McCreevy could get himself into the top 10 before this race is over. Who knows? Maybe with a little bit of luck, he might find himself to the podium. As it looks like Travis Trussell had trouble out there. Oh, I actually just caught a big one there. Matt Soblum. Big wreck there coming out of the kink. Resulted in his towing.
I think you got off that just at the wrong second, too, because McAreevy's teammate Edward Dorsey, I believe it was, had just lost control and got rear-ended by McAreevy just as you left that shot, right in the same second, coming into the Road America straight. That is in turn 14 that just happened.
All right, well, we're finishing the replay here on the screen. You see Scott Edwards there. That's okay. We're back live. No problem. I kind of missed it there and was following you there, Justin. Back up to the front. it's still, or John Madden just gets it back, and he gets it taken right back from him by Cobo Lopez. This battle at the front is it's not over, not even close to being over, and it's probably going to be going for the next 26 minutes of this race. Those two have been fighting since the green flag dropped. Cobo Lopez got a great run to get the race started. The rest of the field, though, still not able to reel in this pack here. And right there, Yannick Chauvin getting passed by Alejandro Sanchez, finally getting himself up to third. And Chauvin continues to kind of drop a little bit. Might be saving the machine here a bit. Don't want to burn up those tires. This is a long race for the Spec Racer, 30 minutes. There is some tire preservation that needs to be going on here to finish this and leave yourself open for an opportunity.
And meanwhile,
this replay.
Yeah, that's David Streeter that you're seeing on the GSRC replay here. He was one of the main contenders, really. This was about the top 10 when he, as you've seen, just had to pull out of the grass. The reason? Well, you're seeing it right here. Got too much inside, hit the curb, spun it right into the grass. Luckily did not hit anything, but one mistake, he goes from 9th to 21st.
Yeah, and you will drop that quickly. That's a shame. We've still had, when you've got this many cars on the grid, it's often hard to keep up with all the incidents. I can tell you that we haven't had any really major ones, but we continue to see cars sliding off track, getting into a little trouble, fighting with certain zones, certain areas here on this track. The kink being one of them. It's been costly today to several drivers. Going to have to watch out for that. You see him running off here on board there with Dudek. Being chased there by Rob Fears. Fears coming around the inside. Didn't wave. How rude of him. He should have waved.
They should add a wave feature to the iRacing's next build. Who knows? That might be a good idea as they go too wide into the turn, and Dudek luckily pulling off. Fears did hit the curb, but it's still 2x2. Look at this. Oh, don't make it 3 wide. Smartly doesn't force 3 wide into a 2 wide situation.
Up front, John Madden trying to take the lead back here as they head down into the left-hander. That is turn 5. It's another spot where we've seen cars get into trouble today. Obviously, a lot of runoff there to the right. Madden does a good job of taking it back 4 now as they head under the Corvette bridge into this left-hander. This will provide an opportunity for Cobo Lopez to take it back here as he slips back into the draft. They head down this short chute. Hurry down into the left-hander. This battle back here. Oh boy, running off the track there. There goes Dudek.
Yeah, Dudek ran off the track by Fears there. And now we got more trouble. Yannick's around. And now there goes Dudek into the tires. Wow, Sean. Just wow.
Yeah, and boy, there was maybe a little bit of contact. Richard Yallen gets caught up in that too. Yeah, as Chauvin is, as you see here on screen, bump drafting on Sanchez here. These two having a little bit of fun. Remember, this is about fun, folks, and maybe do some things with the car here that you wouldn't normally do, let's say, in an official race. But this is quite a battle. More trouble in the carousel. Trying to see who it was. Oh, it was Ronnie Dudek. Jeez, Dudek having more trouble there.
Yeah, that car got absolutely destroyed. That's why he towed and is now probably getting his repairs after all of that. But Alejandro Sanchez and Yannick Chauvin have to make sure they be careful here. They are losing that draft and quick to Cobo Lopez and Jonathan Madden. So something has to change because those two are just pulling away to a 2-second lead. Just like that. Lopez with another slingshot there by Madden, but this is not looking good for both of those guys, and because this lead pack just split in half.
Yeah, it really has. They're going to have to get busy quick, and if you don't have any partners to run in a nice long draft, it can be very, very difficult to get that back. Good racing here on track at Road America. I'm so glad they came back here. It's such a fun course. It really fun in the spec racer. A lot of speed in this car here. Fun getting around these challenging sweepers. The carousel really a challenge. I'll tell you what, this battle here back for 17th, 16th place, not going away. Scott Edwards with a very damaged spec racer Ford, trying to hold off 3 wide just behind him as they head under the Sargento Bridge. Scott Edwards leads this pack. Gerald McAravey and Ed Doherty and Francisco Bernardo all right there. The 94 of Ed Doherty looking to the inside. They're all beat up just a bit.
Yeah, you've seen that 3 wide. One of them actually went in the grass to make it the 3 wide there as we enter the sharp turn number 5. As Edwards, as you mentioned, does have a damage. A few different drivers have damage, obviously, from today so far. But they're all handling the damage pretty well, still in the top 20.
Bernardo sitting back there in that somewhat purplish red car, the number 80, and I'm sorry, no, that's Edwards, the maroon car of Francisco Bernardo. He keeps ducking the nose of that car in like he's going to send it, and then he backs out wisely. I think he's smart enough to know I'd like to wind up at the front of this pack rather than the back of it, maybe at the end of the field by making a mistake. But this is a great race for position here, and unfortunately those guys find themselves 30 seconds behind our leader, Ade Coba Lopez. Tell you what, real quick, why don't we run down the top 10 here? Or did you see something, Justin?
Yes, right before you do that rundown. Remember Alejandro Sanchez? Well, he has just put out of the race. Main reason, coming out of that kink, he has just absolutely destroyed his spec racer Ford. As let's go to your replay here. As you can see, he went off the track on his exit, went upside down and sideways, destroyed the front of it, and he is done for the day. That was the guy running in 4th. Running alongside with Chavin in the draft. We'll see right on the onboard what happened. As he had a decent entry, then it seemed he got a bit too fast on exit and around he goes into the wall. Just absolute bad luck. He's done.
Yeah, that is a bad breakdown. Up front, you've got John Madden chasing Coba Lopez. Poor Yannick Chauvin has nobody to work with back there. Going to be really tough without any kind of drafting partner to make any charge at these two. As long as they keep fighting respectfully and don't mess each other up, as we see John Madden make another move on Coba Lopez there. Down, of course, in turn 5. There's been a lot of action there today. There'll probably be a lot more. Turn 5 leads to that very short straightaway up the hill under the Corvette Bridge. You follow them. Here's the battle back here. It's Xavier Sanchez, and you've got the Ferenz Arabian there, Copeland. It's a multinational effort back there in that battle.
Yeah, with iRacing, you have drivers all around the world. That's the same case here for today. As, oh my goodness, a multiple car wreck. That is McAravey.
Oh, that was that. Yeah, Justin, that was that battle we were watching. You know what? It started with Bernardo. You're going to see this. He's going to lock him up, getting down into turn 5. The car is going to spin out of control. That's the one spinning there. And unfortunately, he collects a lot of cars with him.
Yeah, McAravey. Tough break for them. It looks like McAravey might have just got minimal damage. He stomped on the brakes to avoid that. And now, because of that situation, you're still seeing that top 10 battle. These guys all have to try and work together to get to, I believe right now your car that might be the best person to work with if you're still up here is Rob Fierce, currently now in 4th, because Fierce, if he has the draft, 2 seconds faster in practice just by working with Jonathan Madden. That is some. But let's go on forward for a replay here for what just happened. And here with Mark McDonald, Sean.
Yeah, on board with McDonald here. Okay, heading down towards Canada. Got through the kink. And it looked like the car got loose under braking there really bad. And maybe just a little bit of the grass there out to the left might have contributed to that, but yeah, it certainly did not pay off for him. Lose a little bit of ground there.
Yeah, that's the case partially, like you said, with the grass, partially brake bias, because these are adjustable before the race, at least, with the Spec Racer Fords, to make sure you can enter those corners fairly well. Unfortunately for him, it doesn't work out. Meanwhile, look at this, Madden and Lopez now up to a 3-second lead over Chavin.
Yeah, they're just going to keep opening it up. But the good news for Chavin is that he does have his third place secure right now. It is another 12 seconds back to Rob Fears behind him. So right now, things looking pretty good for Chavin. As long as he can just stay out of trouble, he knows he's got that spot secured as we get into the last 15 minutes of this race. Time just flies by in these big grids. Let's show a little love back through the field. Bob Batalla trying to be overtaken by Adam Copeland right now. Copeland getting around. And we're again heading to turn 5. This seems to be where a lot of the action is today. Out of turn 5 now, and I'm certainly forward and where I need to be as we head to the carousel with these two cars now.
Yes, you can see them right under the Johnsonville Bridge for Speedville, as you see on that sign. But these three are just working nose to tail just about. Copeland losing a tiny bit of ground, but is able to close it up on the exits right now to keep up.
Yeah, just behind him, another really good battle. Javier de Diego and Ferenc Arabian having a good one right now. That's a battle for 10th. Ferenc trying to hang on to that spot. The California driver, he's up 13 spots to get himself here into 10th. We've really not even talked about him. He did get into a little bit of trouble earlier, but was able to get through it cleanly. These cars behind him, Javier de Diego and Adam Bradshaw, who we saw have some trouble earlier himself, all putting up a good fight here. But again, this is a great battle for the 10th spot going on. Oh boy, yeah. Kurt Nunez had a problem back there in 22nd spot there, Justin.
Yeah, speaking of California, this California driver and Nunez, he went way wide and once again crashed into the wall. A few different drivers collected in that as well, it looks like. So we're going to have to see who ran into Nunez's left side, it looked like, of that 88 machine for that to happen. But Chavin, meanwhile, I want to mention this as we're showing him here. He's currently about 5-10 miles per hour slower than the two drivers way up in front of him. Right now, I'm not sure what the strategy would be to do in this situation, other than do you let off to Rob Fears and work with Fears to catch up to these guys, even with the 12-second difference? Or do you just wait for the cars to lay where they need to be?
Yeah, you're never going to get there if you wait for Rob Fears. You just stay in the pedal and know at this point that those two are battling hard up front. Hope for a little misfortune for them while they're battling, and you jump those spots. But right now, the best thing Chavin can do is just stay focused, stay in the pedal, and not worry about it. Now, our leaders did just get by some lap traffic there as Chavin just gets by Jose Carlos Campodonico. My bad, the Italian driver, and I can't believe I messed up his name there after I had worked so hard on it earlier. But Chavin gets around cleanly. I had hoped that maybe he could use Campodonico as maybe a partner, that he was coming up on him, but Campodonico seems to be a bit off the pace as that driver finds himself currently in 42nd. Chavin, though, continues on, and the lucky number 13 from France is giving it his best effort out here.
Yeah, he is, but as we said, if you don't have a partner, a drafting partner, or a drafting train to work with, you're a sitting duck. And when it comes to Coba Lopez and Jonathan Madden, the one thing that's been working for them on top of that drafting is the bump draft, because they've been essentially working together to continue to gap out this front. But there are still battles throughout the entire field here, as this is Road America. This is a 4-mile circuit. Let's take a look at some of those battles in the middle of the field, guys.
Well, let's look at 17th right now. Tim Seidel is holding off Mark Underwood and Benjamin Morton, as they have a pretty good battle going here. Seidel up 7 spots. Mark Underwood and Benjamin Morton, both up from pretty much the back of the field, have worked their way through some trouble, and boy, things have really paid off for them. They find themselves in the top 20 after starting. Mark started 33rd, and Benjamin Morton started 38th. So those two have been dance partners for a while, and they continue to work their way up through the field, working on Seidel. Seidel been strong though, and he's been tough to get around.
Yeah, and you also have even battles as far back as the tail end of the lead lap, as there are still 41 cars on this lead lap. For example, if you go back as far as 36 right now, Jason Wallet, he's trying to fight for position, the New Jersey driver, as he has trouble just in front of him, in fact, as that is Gable Kolarski, who has had some trouble, who just spun around right in front of that, near the back of the pack battle. But you can see the effort is going on throughout this entire field, and you can see the effort right on that car chassis right now for Wallet, with the amount of damage he has as he goes into the sand trap. This is the replay, in fact, as a car went to the left.
Yeah, that was Gabor Pelosi, actually, that had trouble there. And that left-hander, and that car got out of shape and around, but he's back on course. Watching this, Seidel go back to this battle. Seidel just getting this back here from Mark Underwood. Underwood had taken that position from Seidel a few turns back, and now Seidel gets back on it. Under the Corvette bridge into this left-hander. Seidel having trouble hanging onto it out there in the dirt. Yeah, there we go. Underwood could get around, take advantage of that.
Yeah, that's what you got to do. Take advantage of mistakes if you want to move through this field at times in situations like this, and that's exactly what happened there. But if you're Seidel right now, I'm just saying, I can work my way back up there. I just got to focus, as there is another nice battle for the top 5.
Yeah, Bob Battaglia in the mix. Not surprised to see him fighting. Gonna get by. Sanchez is having trouble. Battaglia gonna get by, so is Copeland.
Yeah, that was way wide, it looked like, into the Canada corner. Let's see what happened once again. That was an intense battle going on. He takes the high side on the entrance and just got a bit loose on the exit, it seemed. But we will see a narrow angle, I believe.
Well, he got in hot. He got in hot to the turn there. He was trying to pull off that pass and gets in a little bit too hot, gets wide, and that opens it back up for Battaglia and for, Bob Battaglia and Adam Copeland getting around there.
Yep, that's what happens with going too fast into these corners. And as I mentioned, you make a mistake, you go in the grass, you lose a bunch of positions. And if you hit the tire wall on the way, then you may as well pull behind the garage area. But with that, he's still in 8th.
Yep, Sanchez trying to hang on to this position. Mark McDonald on his tail, coming around up the long straight here in the Moraine sweep. Looks like McDonald going to take that position back into 8th. Very tricky turn 5. Through there, no problem.
And he rebounds.
Sanchez definitely still on the offensive.
Yeah, both of them rebounding from their incidents in the Canada corner, because McDonald a few laps ago did lock up those brakes and wear those tires a bit out. Now he's back in 8th because of a mistake, partially from a mistake from Sanchez in the same intersection. So you're going to see these two battling back and forth for position, though, with the draft, trying to slingshot past each other down the long straightaways.
All right, let's look at a battle back here for 23rd. Miguel Freitas and Lance Snyder going at it. Freitas getting around, setting up here for turn 5. I know we keep going back to turn 5, but that's where it's at. Oh, just behind Snyder. Almost contact from Flavio Sottorino, who really smoking him there going into turn 5. Sottorino right up on the wing of that Spec Racer. Looking to get around, looking pretty impatient actually right now.
Yeah, that turn 5 you mentioned, it's one of probably the most difficult danger area of this track, supposed to be in the best passing area. You can see as the car drives right by, that would be Santorino zooming by. As both of these cars, they're actually putting up decent lap times. If you're seeing the last lap times, some of them in the 235s, 236s, that's concurrent with what the leaders are running. So if they had the proper luck, they might be having a shot at the win. But again, it's about luck, strategy, and how you time things out. That's why you have a bunch of battles. For example, Bob Patella trying now to get by McDonald, as McDonald is in 8th now because Sanchez is back in 7th.
Okay, and the battle for the top 10 rages on. Ferenz, Arabian still hanging on to it. Javier De Diego is really on his tail, and they just had to get around Jose Campodonico, who did a good job of getting out of the way into that battle, but they are closing in on the battle in front of them that we've been talking about, and that's Bob Batalla and Xavier Sanchez and Mark McDonald. Those two are coming really close to getting involved here, and boy, it's going to get exciting as those three look to maybe try and make it 3 wide, and they're coming up on Joshua Holman. That is a lapped car they're coming up on, and that's going to bring everybody a little bit closer together as they get on turn 5.
Yeah, and this is right now, you can see it going right over the Corvette Bridge. All still single file again. McDonald, he's going to just peek out and use the lapped car as a slingshot to get some extra speed there.
Boy, De Diego uses him as a pick and picks up a position there from Ferenz. Boy, Batalla goes off and Javier gets another position there. Bob didn't get off far enough to get into real trouble, but he does lose his spot. And Ferenz Arabian there to take it away from him if he makes another mistake. But that did allow Sanchez and McDonald to kind of pull away from that group. Now they've got Copeland up in front of them, who quite frankly by himself is a sitting duck. So top 5 certainly in question here right now with 4 minutes left in this race. Only about definitely going to be just a couple laps to go. In fact, we'll be talking about a white flag here, I think, in one more lap. Things still battling up top at the front, though. It's Madden and Lopez still going wheel to wheel here. We're going to stay on the leaders here and keep track of this fight because, well, it's for the win. And I think they might have swapped position on every lap this race right now. We've got 2 drivers, both with a 7,000 I rating, and well, that's how you're rated here on iRacing. And both one's a pro, and Lopez and Madden, one of us, one of the normal guys. It's Lopez, the leader right now, though, as they now head down the Moraine Sweep into turn 5. And boy, look at that move. John Madden makes a move to the outside, gonna take it down into turn 5, hops in front, bam, he got that one.
Yeah, that's the way it's been going out front, really. Madden's got the advantage into 5, then Lopez gets it right back down the Road America straight to the start and finish line. I wouldn't be surprised if Madden would be more aggressive in this final lap and a half, really. As you see the clock at 2:35, that's how long it takes to get around one circuit. We are officially at that 1.5 to go mark.
I think it's great that we're talking about John Madden leading a race on NFL opening Sunday. Okay, that's enough of that. Sorry, it was my bad John Madden impression. But anyway, it is kind of coincidental that we've got a Madden in the lead, and it's NFL Sunday here in the United States. Exciting race this has been up front. Koba looking to set him up here, though. I have a feeling that this is all about a setup as they head into the kink. Man, the kink has claimed a lot of victims today, too. I've seen a lot of cars sliding off there. Boy, John Madden has to do a really good job of reeling it in there. He almost got off into the grass just a bit. You're not hanging it on the edge if you're not maybe clipping that grass just a bit. Now we've got Matt Solblum right up in front of him. Solblum going to have to do. He's going to have to get out of the way here because these two are fighting hard. And Solblum not the only one out there. Jason Wallet up in front of them also.
Yep, if you're the leaders right now, you're putting a police siren right now, trying to get him to move to the left or to the right out of the racing line. And I wouldn't be surprised if he does. You do not want to get in the way of the battle for the lead. You do not want to be the reason that something happens in the battle for the lead, as Madden's going to actually use him as a pick and a draft as they come to the start and finish line. Look at this. He might be using him as the slingshot for extra speed and does keep it into turn one this time compared to the last few times. This is where Madden could be able to keep the front if he can use these lap cars the proper way as picks.
Boy, and Lopez right up on the rear deck there as they went into turn one, and Lopez backs out of it. And here's Wallet now. Again, I said Wallet could be a factor here. He's going to try and get out of the way, but he's right there at the exit in front of Madden. Madden able to, again, use him kind of as a pick and put a little space between him and Lopez. But here we go. Lopez making a run at him here as we head down into turn 5. Lopez looks to the right. And Madden going to keep it to the left on the inside here. Still has the preferred line. Lopez going to try and attack from the outside. Maybe try and cross him over. It doesn't work. Not yet. He's trying to bring him up side by side as they head to the Corvette Bridge. Madden still in the lead. Lopez backs out of it. Madden with a good trip through. Gets off the rumble strips clean. Goes a little defensive here on Lopez. Lopez still trying to get a nose in. It's not there. Madden hanging on to the left-hander. Here we go. Out of hurry downs. Heading to the carousel one last time. Madden going to stay defensive here. Keep Lopez in the mirror. Lopez not going to be able to attack from the outside here. Madden keeps it nice and tight down on the line. They make it out of the carousel clean. We're going to head to the kink. Can he hang on into the kink? Yeah, you see him there. Lopez trying to maybe take a shot to the inside here. Nothing yet. Coming up alongside him. Oh boy, it's going to all come to Canada. Say hello to Canada, folks. It's there and it's gone. Jonathan Madden still in the lead. Hanging on for just a little bit longer. We come into the final turns of this race. Jonathan Madden going to get to turn 14 with the lead. Cobo Lopez going to look to the inside. Not yet. The battle rages on. Here they come. Cobo Lopez surely going to look to try and get a draft up the straightaway. I don't think he's going to get it. Here comes John Madden. Lopez going to try and slingshot around. It's not there. They come across the line, and I think it's John Madden going to be your winner here of the Week 13 SRF vRunoffs race. Man, what a race there at the end between him and Cobo Lopez. Yannick Chauvin looks like he's going to pull away with that third place on the podium. He's still, yeah, there he goes. Yannick Chauvin across Rob Fears. Wow, what a race to the finish by Cobo Lopez there and John Madden. Congratulations to John and to Cobo Lopez. What a great race by those two.
A great race and good blocking really from Madden to make sure Lopez to get that, not get that momentum down that final straight. Lopez almost got down. If the start and finish line I think was maybe 50 feet over to further down, we might have been talking about a different result.
Mark Underwood, just doesn't get around the 421 there at Tim Seidel. Almost did. Still several racers trying to come across the line here and still have a couple of battles for position there. And it looks like we've maybe thinned out all the close battles there were, but the field still finishing its way, coming around here. Still several drivers with a race to finish. But as I said, I don't see anybody battling for a position anymore, unfortunately. Boy, that was a great battle by Adam Copeland and David Rodriguez there at the end. Copeland will get that fifth spot. Xavier Sanchez, who was in that battle also, he fought with Mark McDonald to the line. David Streeter and Antonio Rees had a good battle to the line. Ferenz Arabian didn't give up there at the end. That was boy, I'll tell you what, that was a lot of fun. It was another big grid race that did not disappoint here on the Global Sim Racing channel. But I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to step away, take a quick break. We'll come back with a complete rundown of the finishing order and talk to a few drivers. We'll be back in a moment. Thanks. And we're back from that very short break there. You just witnessed the 14th installment of the Week 13 SRF vRunoffs Big Grid Race. And what a race it was. Let's go through this really big field and where everybody finished. Your big winner today, Jonathan Madden, the New England driver, brings it home in first. And a good starting spot certainly helped that. But I'll tell you what, a spirited battle with Cobo Lopez there. Boy, what a run for those two. It could have gone either way, honestly. But Madden has a great last lap and able to hold off Lopez. Yannick Chauvin, a great race by him. He stayed out of enough trouble there to finish third. Rob Fears, fourth. Adam Copeland, fifth. David Rodriguez comes home sixth. Seventh, Xavier Sanchez. Mark McDonald there in eighth. Adam Bradshaw, ninth. 10th, going to go to David Streeter.
A decent top 10. Antonio Reyes just finishing just outside that top 10 in 11th. Ferenz Arabian finished 12th. Javier Diego, in 13th. Edward Dorothy and Gerald McAravey, both of them have had similar paint schemes today. They finished 14th and 15th. Tim Seidel finished 16th. Along behind him was Mark Underwood with their close finish. Benjamin Morden in 18th. 19th, Francesco Bernardo and Arne Stopes finished off 20th.
All right, and hitting blackjack today was James King. The UK&I driver Miguel Freitas will finish 22nd. Flavio Saturnino will finish 23rd. Lance Snyder, 24th. 25th, going to go to Scott Edwards. Steve Ray, the 26th place finish. Gary Woolbolt, 27th. Bob Kern, 28th. 29th, going to go to Don Brooks. And Richard Valley. Now, Richard Valley, I think he started at Richard started start at the very back of the field. 51st place, will finish 30th. Not a bad day at the office. I'll take that.
Not a bad day indeed. Manning Gridden, I think, might be also smiling with his run. Pardon me, the contrary, as he started 12th, finished 31st. William Marshall, 32nd. Trevor Clement in 33rd. Louis Vandersloot in 34th. Michael Shaw. Bob Batella, who had been in that close battle in the top 5, top 10. He comes away a lap down in 36th. Matt Sloan in 37th. Jason Wallet in 38th. And 39th, Jose Carlos Campdomingo and Mike Taylor finishing off the top 40, 2 laps down.
Okay, and then we're going to go to 41st. It's going to be Gabor Colosi there, and 42nd, Kurt Nunez. Josh Holman, 43rd. Bogdan Dimitrisu, Aaron, 44th. 45th, Alejandro Sanchez. Ronnie Dudek, 46th. He was racing pretty well there for a while and then got in trouble. Richard Yallen, 47th. Travis Trussell, 48th. Aaron Noam, who got into trouble early, will finish 49th. Sven Sigmund, 50th. And the 51st driver, the New Yorker, Donnell Fitterer, there in 51st. And he obviously got in trouble earlier, much earlier in the race there on the second lap. And that ended it early for him. But we've got a couple of drivers who've shown up to talk to us, so we'll take advantage of that here. I think we will go ahead and take Mark McDonald first. He finished 8th today, and we'll catch up with Mark. Mark, man, I'll tell you what, you finished 8th today. You started 11th. That was a pretty busy race out there. Lots going on. Talk to us about it.
Hey guys, can you hear me okay? Just want to make sure you're using my Rift mic. Awesome.
Yes, we can.
You sound great, buddy.
Perfect. Hey, that was an amazing race. This was, believe it or not, my first Spec Racer Ford race ever. Tried to do a big grid a couple of years ago or a couple of seasons ago and was just able to get into this one. That was an amazing race, man. I was super nervous at the start because this is such a big drafting track, obviously, that if you lost more than a second to the guy in front of you, you're kind of done. And had a pretty close battle with a number of guys, and ultimately, probably lap like 15 or so, there was an accident in the hurry downs that took out a couple of guys. Somebody went wide, I'm not sure who, but when they rejoined the track, kind of all hell broke loose, and everyone was going all sideways. Ultimately, had a really good battle with Xavier, and he got me at the very end. Couldn't get up into the 7th place, but But really amazing race, like ton of fun. I'm sweating bullets over here from all of the work that I just did, and I want to thank everyone from the Weekend Warriors and GSRC and also Steve for organizing the whole thing. It was a blast. Really appreciate it.
Well, Mark, what do you usually run if you're not familiar with the Spec Racer Ford?
I'm mostly in the Porsche 911. That's where I do most of my running. And I had tried the Spec Racer a couple of seasons ago and didn't love it. Frankly, it's hard to start driving. But then I just got this Rift maybe, I don't know, 5 or 6 weeks ago, and thought, hey, you know what? Maybe it was just like field of view. Maybe it was just not feeling in the car. And sure enough, jumped in, grabbed the setup from the forum, which is, as far as for anyone listening that, that might be thinking about getting into iRacing or looking for a new series, the forum and all the work that the guys do is just amazing for the Spec Racer Ford group. I want to say it was like Jonathan Madden's setup that I used. So a lot of thanks to him. Really did me well. Got a little pushy at the end, but we can work on that. And jumped in and kind of got used to the shifting and everything. Promptly broke my H pattern shifter, so I had to use the paddles, which was weird. But it was a real blast, and really something that I think I might carve out some time to do a couple more races in the actual series now.
Well, that's good to hear. Okay, so coming from that Porsche, give me the comparison between the two cars. What's the biggest adjustment to make from stepping out of that into this? The Porsche 911 Cup car is like I would say a proper race car. This is like a roll cage with some fiberglass on it. And I've watched the real Spec Racer Ford races in real life, just on YouTube, and they're rattling all over the place. The biggest thing on this is, in the Porsche, when you're pushing into a turn, you use a little bit of trail braking, and in this car you trail brake a little bit, but really coming off the throttle gives you this trailing throttle oversteer. So you have to make sure that you're not going in too fast. You have to be real careful on it. Otherwise, you get this crazy snap oversteer that you can't save. And then for me, honestly, the biggest problem was just this downshifting, like getting downshifts right, and making sure that I wasn't in neutral going into a corner, which did happen a couple of times, but you can just slap the clutch and get it back in. You just have to be paying attention for it. Well, listen, Mark, I'll tell you, I thank you for coming in to talk to us. And Mark is a good example to those watching that, listen, if you want to get involved in this Week 13 SRF vRunoffs race, any of you can do it. You just got to get on the iRacing forums, find the official thread there in private leagues, and look up the SRF guys. And they'll let you know how to get involved. And like Mark said, you got guys out there sharing setups. Yeah, it's an open setup, but trust me, the community is strong. A lot of fun. Mark, congratulations. What a great day, man. Thanks again for talking to us.
Hey, thanks, guys. Take care.
All right, and hopefully we get to see Mark next time when we do this again on another Week 13 at the end of another iRacing season. We're about to head into that fall session here on iRacing as we're wrapping up Week 13. But boy, Justin, I do want to thank Steve Ray and the Weekend Warriors League for organizing this event and contracting with GSRC to broadcast it. And I want to thank the companies, equipment, and software that you'll see on your screen now that we use on our broadcast, on every broadcast. The original music that we use on this broadcast is also thanks to Eric Ekholm and Casey Lalonde. If you look there on the screen, you can see how to contact each of them. Justin, I want to thank you for being on board today. I want to thank our director, Joe Peak, and of course, the great Dougie Beard for his camera locations. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, your best bet is globalsimracingchannel.com, and find us on social media at GSR Channel, as we're at on Twitter and on Facebook. If you just type in Global Sim Racing Channel, you'll pick us up, I promise. Now that we've got the housekeeping out of the way, it's time for me to put a lock on the gate and get out of here. So until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.